Welcome to another episode of Dad's Rules with Kevin Belzer, and today is yet another special episode. Today I will be on the Sexy Business Status podcast with Jason Von Payne. So sit back and enjoy.
What's up, guys? Jason Payne. Welcome to the Sexy Business Status. I'm your host. I'm here with one of my good friends and a badass realtor, Mr. Kevin Belzer. Kevin, what up, dog?
Going good. Going good. Yep.
So Kevin and I met via Nick, Coach Nicky T.
I was trying to guess on this the other day. I'm thinking like 12 years. How long have you known Nick?
So my sister got married to my ex-brother-in-law in 2009.
Okay.
And that's when I truly met Nick, because he helped me buy my first house in 2010, and I sold it. I got divorced, and I sold it in 2011.
Yep.
So
I showed your
shortly
house.
thereafter.
I remember.
Oh yeah, you freaking.
Yep. I remember when you came into the office and bought the house in 2009. So I've known you since then.
So 09,
but I knew
so
you
14
better
years.
by 2011.
Yeah. Afterwards, because all that stuff was, and I wasn't even in roofing in 2009. I was in landscaping.
Really?
Is that crazy?
I didn't
Funny
realize
story.
that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Because I was in landscaping. I didn't start roofing until January of 2010.
Okay.
So it was 09. Bought my house. Got my uncle offered me a position.
Yep.
And started doing roofing in January 2010. And then my son was born in June of 2010, the one that you met, Noah. Oh, here.
Yep.
So Noah, and then got divorced and sold part of the divorce in 2011.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then fast forward, met Heidi, happily married 10 years, 5 kids.
It's crazy how the time just flies.
Dude.
It's like...
I've known you for over a decade. That is crazy.
It is. It is. It definitely is. 12 years. 12 years.
And that means I've been doing your roofs for about a decade.
Yeah. You did 3 of them for me this past 2 months. So
yeah, hard the past, since I started on my own, but that's crazy.
But no, I always referred you. You're the only roofer I knew.
Well, it's funny because like I have realtors and other people I talk to. They're like, oh yeah, they've a second, a third, and a fourth of everything.
Yep.
Plumber, home inspector, appraiser, you name it, right? And then I appeal to like I couldn't even tell you another roofing contractor. Maybe like a company from like a wrap or a truck or something. They're like, I don't know any other roofers.
I know
ones that have, like,
others.
tiers.
Yeah, I know others only if they're in their marketing your marketing program. That's it.
That's true. And there's
I
like 3 or 4 in there.
There's others. I'm like, who knew?
Like there's 900 of us, by the way. There's
900 roofers.
900 roofing contractors in Arizona.
Well, there's 3 million real estate agents in the country.
Well, there's 60 or 70,000.
Yeah,
but only about 6,000 of you guys do.
It got up to, I think we exceeded 80,000, and now they're dropping like flies.
Oh, dude! So true story. I've had at least 4 realtors, 2 that like I was doing roof inspections for literally 12 months ago when everything was going crazy, and 4 of them, two of them they were literally doing deals, and I was doing their roofing stuff for them. But 4 people have reached out to me, all in real estate, asking me for either a marketing job or a sales job.
Well, you know what it is that when a market's hot, everybody looks like an expert. Right. But when the marketing changes, the market changed like it did, where it just collapsed 25%. All of a sudden, the tide went out, and we got to see who was skinny dipping.
I love that phrase. It's one of my favorite phrases. Either Tommy Mello or Brad Lee said it. And they said, are you banking on the market or are you banking on your marketing?
Yep.
It's like that ING is the difference of everything.
It's very true, because when I saw the market shift last year, I was like, okay, I have a couple choices here. I can contract like everybody else says, or you can take a page out of Warren Buffett where he says, when everybody else is zigging, you zag. And I can double down, do the marketing and all that. That's when the wrap truck came in. We really, doubled down on everything.
Started a podcast.
Yep. Yeah, we hit it 2-tier. We did everything that had to do with my dad's real stuff, the books with that. And then we also doubled down as far as all my real estate. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go full bore into everything. And it's great. So
and your content and social media 10X too.
Well, it went from basically nothing.
Well, hey.
Let's be honest to the viewers.
Yeah,
it was pretty bad. It was very hit and miss. It's like you knew, because we're friends, that I jumped in pools. I did a lot of crazy stuff, but I was not consistent.
But people that aren't your friends, that's where the marketing comes in.
Right.
Because like people that are your friends know that you do real estate, and they're like, oh, and we know Kevin jumps in pools. Haha, cool.
Yeah.
It's like, cool, but that pool, no pun intended, that pool is only this big compared to the freaking lake. And so how do you get in front of other people other than your friends?
Exactly.
Right? That's what it comes down to.
So like I closed one on Monday where she came to me and said, hey, I wanted to work with you before you got too famous, which I thought was hilarious.
That's
because I'm nowhere near there, but she sees all my content.
Right.
So she reached out. She goes, I need you to help me buy a home.
Okay.
And her line to me when we were out looking is, I needed to work with you before you got too famous. And I'm like, okay, well, thank you for stroking my ego.
Appreciate it.
It's nowhere near there. But what it also showed me is that all the work I put in the last year, it worked.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is people just give up too easy.
They do because they think that one post is going to be it, or that one open house they did. Or,
there's a book I haven't read it yet. I just bought it like a couple weeks ago. It's like 3 Feet from Gold.
Yep, phenomenal.
And that's literally that's like my mentality about that. Like I did 2 roofs last month, like $30,000, right? In between the 2 roofs, and literally slam dunks, like alley-oops, layups, free throws, the easiest of easy roofs to close. Like, hey, I need a roof. Here it is. I know you from so-and-so. Cool. Here's the bid. Here's the warranty. Here's the price. Cool. Let's go with that one. Done.
Yep.
Like literally that easy. 10-minute conversation. And, they're both like 10, 15, 20 grand a pop. And both of them came from sales reps, one that retired or left the roofing industry, and another one that left working with me and thinks the grass is green on the other side, and left and went somewhere else. And I'm like, dude, I was like, that's, $3,000 in commissions if you'd have freaking stayed. And people just like get up and leave shit too fast. Just drives me nuts. Drives me absolutely nuts.
I saw it before I was in real estate. Years ago, I did car sales, and I'd see somebody give up on the lot with somebody. They go, oh, they're not buying. And the sales manager I had was a gangster. He was a 4-pack a day smoker.
Awesome.
Out there, very old school car salesman. And he would just turn to me and go, Kevin, go close it. And I go out there and talk to the guy. And I remember one specifically where the guy goes, I just bought a car 3 weeks ago. Well, that's why the other person walked away from him, because they just bought a car 3 weeks ago. And I got to talking to him some more, and he goes, my sister needs a car. And I go, hey, how about this? You give your sister your car, and I'll go sell you a Mercedes. And he's like, okay. And sold him a Mercedes that day. And it was funny. The other person gave up on a really nice check. Hello, it was a Mercedes.
Sure.
Because they're like, well, you already had a car. It's like, yeah, but you didn't dig deep enough. You didn't dig the extra 3 feet to the gold.
Yeah, or like the follow-up, right? I have 8 sales reps. I just hired my 9th and my 10th, trying to get to 25 million in revenue by 2025.
Yep.
And
which, by the way, your goal is too far out. I've told you this off mic. That needs to be your goal next year.
Next year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit. It needs to be your goal next year. Yeah.
I love this guy. This is fantastic. Yeah. So,
well, we all hang around with each other just to push each other.
Sure.
Because it's like we're all thinking too small.
Yeah. Oh, we just are. Yeah. Because we don't want to put that pressure on us. And once you go public with it, like 25 by 20, that's a 10 million growth in 24 months.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, I mean, honestly, it's not doable, but it's like, and then you talk to Brandon Dawson. I follow Brandon Dawson on social media, and his wife, Natalie Dawson, is speaking at our event in July. Those that are listening to it before July, Natalie Dawson is going to be there. And he talks about how in their 4th year, they did over 100 million in revenue. And I'm like, I'm thinking too small. I'm hanging around the wrong people.
Well, I can't remember what the numbers were, but I know that it was a tremendous growth, the prior number to that, to get to over 100 million.
Oh yeah.
That was a true.
It was like 40 or something like that. I don't even think it was over 50.
It definitely wasn't. It was way more than double.
Yeah. It was like 6 and then like 18 and then 40 and then like 112 or something like that.
Well, we're not taking into account momentum.
Right. Compound.
Compounding it. So if you look at like what I was telling you about how I'm now seeing the fruits of all the online posting, learn from you 15 to 30 times a day. I think you told me 15 and I'm like, let's do more. So 15 to 30 times a day.
Daniel Fleshman teaches once, Bradley teaches 4, and Grant, I listen. We are re-listening to the 10X rule as my team.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a different book every time I listen to it.
It is.
It's
I've been through
gangster.
it probably 4 or 5 times, and it's been now over a year, so I've got to listen to it again.
So an Audible, like he does, I love that he does his own books, but he said, yeah, he's like, you got, you're doing this once. He's like, you're doing once a day, twice a day. He's like, you're not going to get any momentum. It's funny because some people, I mean, twice a day for some people is just like, pulling is like heart surgery, right? But he's like, yeah, we do. And this book is probably a decade old now, right? So it says in like 2023. This is probably in the early 2010-ish. And he said that at that time they were doing 2 times an hour, every hour, 24 hours a day.
Wow.
I was like, Gilbert High graduate, right? I was like, 2 times 12 is 24, times 2 is 28. And I'm like,
well, and
oh my gosh.
Nick breaks it down perfectly of how you can take content and make it be that one piece be 24 pieces.
Yes.
So once you see that formula, it all makes sense how it can easily be done.
Yeah.
But a big learning lesson to me was a few months ago, we did that audit that you do every quarter with the people that mastermind.
We need to redo yours, by the way.
Yeah, no, no pressure.
Not today.
But you've got a good point there because you got to figure out, okay, for the next 90 days, where are you going to focus? Right. But anyway, something that was brought up by somebody in that room is they go, well, I don't see you posting anything about real estate. And I was like, oh, I'm not posting enough, even though I literally go live every single day and talk about real estate every single day. And I was like, and you're saying that you never see me ever, period, go live. And I was like, okay, I'm not doing enough content.
Yeah, that's what we underestimate. Like, think of the thousands. If you spend like a solid hour and no TV, no wife, no kids, and you sit down and you scroll on social media, you go through hundreds and hundreds of pieces of content. Hundreds. And that's why reels and stories are so popular, because it's 60 seconds or less. That's because we have the freaking attention span of a freaking mouse. Right. And so that's the crazy and the powerful part. It's like, but if you're only one of 400, that's only within that hour.
Exactly.
What if you're the 400, just 3 feet from gold? Yeah. What if you're a 401, or what if you're like negative 10? So before they got on, type deal, or like they get off, and it's just crazy the amount of eyeballs. But that's where you just be putting out stuff over, and the consistency. Like I was just looking the other day, like right now, I think I'm at 500 or 5,000, but I started in 2010.
Yeah.
My uncle and my cousin both told me I was dumb. That this Insta face, as Ed Milet says, Insta face, wasn't going to be a thing. And this is 13 years ago. And he said, it's dumb, waste of time, waste of money. I want nothing to do with it. If you want to do it, you would do it yourself. Right. I'm like, okay. And I wasn't a wizard then. I'm still not a wizard, but I feel like I got, I can get like maybe a bronze award at best, but 5,732 posts.
That's insane. And you look at mine.
That's only one a day, though. If you do the math,
yeah,
isn't that insane?
It is.
I've been averaging for 13 years. If you do the math, at 52 times 12, so 5 times 12 is 60, right? So yeah, so basically one a day.
And that's just Instagram.
Yeah, one per. Yeah, that's just Instagram. Yeah, it's not including Facebook. And everything I post from Instagram goes onto Facebook. So it's literally double. So it's actually about 11,000 posts.
Yeah.
But when you understand that there's freaking dollars, one, it's not just about the dollar signs. Make that very clear. I have shit on there that I want nothing. I don't want any money. I just want somebody to be inspired to, just like Ed Milet, like the power of one more, change that person's mindset, change their health. I know dudes that I went golfing with one of my roofing suppliers. Nothing to do with sexy business status, coaching, nothing. I pay him money. I give him hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in purchasing roofing materials. And I went golfing with him probably 2 months ago. He's like, dude, thank you for posting Never Miss Mondays. And I'm like, he's not my coaching program.
Yeah.
I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, dude. He's like, I might miss during the week. I've never missed a Monday. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, cool. I was like, and he's like, and he said, thank you for doing that. Thank you for helping me out. Thank you for inspiring me to, to at least get Monday in. And I'm like, who would have thought that I would have, people that are like you, heavily involved and we interact a lot. We have masterminds together. We have events together. We have coaching calls together. This other dude, literally, I only call him if I need a roofing issue, and that's it. But because of social media and the consistency of there's 52 Mondays a year, and 52 times I'm never miss Monday. I even do it during the week just so they like, hey, never miss Monday means I worked out today. To me, that's kind of how it works for me. But
well, the thing is that you can't just do content that's just roof. You have to do content that's other stuff as well, because you've got to keep them engaged.
Well, and this is about personal brand too. Mm-hmm. So I was at Ryan Stewman's event, $1 Million Mastermind.
Absolutely agree.
It was gangster. So he had a bunch of freaking cool speaker. Billie Jean was there, blew my brains out.
Ryan Stewman's the G.
Dude, Ryan Stewman.
Hardcore closer.
Dude, he has 4 books. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Dude, I think he has 5 books. I swear, I bought all of them.
Dude, I don't think I have any of them.
I have like 4 or 5. Yes,
I watch them all the time. I had no idea I had books.
Neither did I. I literally just, I went in there because everybody like, oh, buy my book. Everybody that speaks, I'm like, if they have a book, I'm going to buy it and read it. That's kind of my thing when I do an event. Mm-hmm. And I go on there and it's like Ryan Stewman. I'm like, this bro has like, and they're like Sean Whalen types, right? They're little thin guys, but a book is a book, right? You know? And so I'm like, holy crap. The point I was trying to make there was Daniel Fleshman was the first speaker, and I love Daniel Fleshman. And if you watch Daniel Fleshman, he doesn't have like a brand per se.
Right.
He was up there. He was wearing like a flannel shirt. And when he spoke at Kent Clothier's event in his mastermind Scale and Escape Summit, he actually grabbed one of Kent's boardroom hoodies and put it on before he interviewed A-Rod on the stage.
Okay.
So it's not like Splash Program, Dad's Rules, and Sexy Business Status, Sexy Roof Status, State 48. The dude is like, it's insane of how dialed in he is with him, and not necessarily a brand. I think both is. I mean,
I can make arguments for either.
Oh, completely agree. Right. But he was just talking about the personal brand and how I literally had a guy who who may or may not have wrapped your truck and wrapped all of my trucks. So I was talking to.
Yep.
And he's like, hey, how do I get to speak on your stage? Straight up. He said, Jordan Adler spoke on your stage. I want to speak on your stage. And I said, first of all, never beg to be on someone's stage, ever. And I've had 3 people since we announced this event in July. Those are listening. This is about 6 weeks before our July, we're calling it the Sales Summit.
Yep.
It's all going to be everything sales related.
Yep.
We had our marketing one a month ago. This one's sales related.
Which was dope.
It was good. Was it good?
That room was freaking packed.
Oh, there was 183 people in that room.
No ads.
0 ads.
Word of mouth.
All organic.
What that showed me, power of social media and networking.
10 sponsors.
Yeah, it was freaking dope.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was awesome.
It was super cool.
And I walked outside and my truck was washed.
Yeah, right?
For the first time since October.
Apart from the natural rain.
Oh my God, yeah.
So going back to the power of a personal brand is, and I was telling this guy, I said, hey, I was like, the reason why I invite certain people on my stage is not because I don't invite Nike, I invite Phil Knight.
Correct.
I don't invite the Chicago Bulls, I invite Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. I don't invite, send out cards, I invite Jordan Adler, the person.
Well, case in point. So I didn't hire Payne and Sons, I hired Jason. I didn't hire Griffin Roofing, I hired Jason. I don't hire State 48, I hired Jason.
Shameless plug. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
but does that make sense though, guys? So
no, but it's about relationship.
It's 1,000% about relationships.
And it tells you that certain individuals can be more powerful than the overall brand.
Well, think about Michael Jordan. Have you watched Air?
I have not watched Air yet.
Tonight.
But
tonight you need to watch Air with your wife.
I lived in Chicago when he was winning all those championships.
Oh, so you're familiar with all of it.
I had the manager run out the door one day because she heard me screaming in the car because I was listening on the radio.
Sure.
And I wasn't going back in from delivering pizzas. And I've screamed in the car. She runs out to see if I'm okay. And it's like, well, the Bulls just won the championship again. And I'm just there going just ape shit in the car.
That's hilarious. But that's a perfect example of, and I mean, case in point, that's what I did with my uncle's company. Yeah. When I left, I was terrified.
Well,
I was terrified.
And the funny thing is that they had the opportunity to do it and they decided not to. And they basically well, you can do it if you want to. And it was almost like a brush off to you, but it was the biggest blessing ever to have them not want to do it, because what ended up happening, you became Jason the roofer, not Jason of Payne and Sons.
Or Steve's nephew.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to be your own brand. Like when you went to Griffin, it was such a smooth transition from the two. And I only know because I know you personally.
Sure.
But when you went over, I was like, oh, he's I think he's with a new company, but it was like, whatever,
But I call the cell phone and I send the bid to the email and nothing changes.
Right. Because it was still you standing on a roof, giving tips and advice and all that. Nothing had changed as far as Jason, the roofer, was concerned.
Right.
And it was still you or, eventually your salespeople that I called to get a roof done.
Well, and that's where I tell people, like, being an entrepreneur is huge. That basically being an entrepreneur is basically building your own personal brand under somebody's umbrella.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. And for example, Afton, my marketing gal, right?
Afton and your COO.
Red-headed roofer, Dory, COO, like that's a brand that is a brand within a brand. I mean, it's happening because of State 48 Roofing, but they get to take that with them wherever they go.
Absolutely.
Right. And I want you guys to understand the power of a personal brand and dominating a personal brand rather than a company brand. That's why I don't post on my State 48 page at all. I have Afton do it for me because my Jason the Roofer one has way more followers and way more credibility, way more value, to where I have the Sean Whalens and these big guys of the world. They know who I am and what I do.
Well, something else you're doing is the reason I know that you'll do 25 million and eventually 50 million, 100 million, et cetera, down the line. The reason I know that these things will happen is you're doing true leadership things to where you're not uncomfortable telling somebody in your company to go, hey, go build your own brand underneath my umbrella. Whereas somebody that was like scared of them leaving or being bigger than them would have a problem with that. That it's funny how easy it is to see success beforehand when you step back and you go, well, they're showing leadership quality before they even have the financial backing. Not that you don't, 'cause you're already, several millions company, but you know what I'm saying is that this is how you're going to go to yet another level. This is how the Brandon Dawsons do it. And the Tommy Mello is a great example here locally
as
well.
And that's what it comes down to. So so going back to this guy that said, hey, I want to be on your stage. And I was like, I would actually bring your company on stage before I brought you on stage.
Right.
And I said, even then I wouldn't even bring your company on stage other than the fact that you wrap my trucks. And I said, the reason why is because everybody knows who you are because of me. I told him that this is like 2 days ago.
It's very true, because if you follow him on social, there isn't anything.
And personally, there's even less.
Correct.
Yeah. Or whatever.
Great rep company.
Great rap. That's where it stops.
Exactly. I got on 3 stages last year where I spoke, and I did not ask to be on any of them. And I think you're right. That's the way to do it. Don't ask.
Don't ever ask. Like so I've had 3 people since we released the sales summit. I've had 3 people say, "Oh, hey, if this guy doesn't work out, I'd love to take his spot." Or hey, or hey, how can I get on your stage? If you are asking how to get on someone's stage, one, I appreciate if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Correct.
So
I know we've all heard the coaches say that.
I applaud that.
I will applaud that as well.
Yeah.
But
it's
I love you, but
I love you, but but the reason why you've never been asked to be on a stage is because you haven't built your personal brand. Because when you get up on the stage, no matter what your business is, that goes out the door, and we want the individual. Send out cards is a perfect example. Jordan Adler. Like, I don't even know. Like, yes, I use send out cards, but like, I'm not really having send out cards on stage.
I want to hear the Mockingbird story.
I love Jordan.
Yeah, I want to hear the Mockingbird story. He went to like. I want to hear how he lived in a garage.
Yes, 11 different companies before he got his first 11 years before he got his first client.
Yes,
that's a great story.
And I think it was 11 companies as well. It was at least 10.
Yeah, it was insane. It was a stupid number.
Yeah. Well, it also tells that he knew that the model would work eventually, but he had to work on himself. Yeah. And that's the deeper part of the story.
And fast forward 2 decades of putting his head down, apart from the decade where he didn't do jack shit. So 3 decades in, he's freaking playing chess with Richard Branson on his private boat.
Yep.
And he's getting ready to go to space with him. Like,
freaking gangster.
Dude, it's freaking insane, right?
And one of the most genuine people you'll ever meet sent me a random gift in the mail the other day with a card.
Yeah, me too.
It's like, hell yeah. It's like, I love this guy.
Yeah.
Love him to the end.
Yeah,
is there one of those that, hey, just, take my check every month.
Right. And that's what it comes down to, guys. So when it comes and when you truly understand the power of a personal brand, so how do you grow a personal brand? Since we're kind of talking about social media and branding and whatnot, in my opinion, the fastest way I get this from Bradley. He talks about your personal brand. He's like, dude, and Nick's kind of really honed in on this in the past 90 days is document everything. Document your process. Document you taking your dog for a walk on the beach. Document your surf session. Document you, burgers and a beer at the pool. Document, a storm coming in. Document, your kid's baseball game. And Bradley talked about it where he said some of his best. He stopped smoking now, but when he was smoking cigars, he'd walk outside. But he told his guys he felt almost like an imposter when he was like, okay, you got to record content. Put the mic on, so you're almost like putting on this different avatar, this different face. Yeah. And he's like, I hate doing that, and that's stupid. It's still great content.
It is, but it's one of those things to where I don't give myself a set time I'm going live every day. So it's like if in the morning I don't have the idea, I'm not going live yet. I know I'm going to go live that day because I'm going to get inspired.
It's a non-negotiable.
Yep. Sure. It's going to happen at some point. But there have been nights it's been 10 o'clock at night, and it came to me. I've already laid down. Came to me, I hopped up, threw a shirt on, went back downstairs and recorded a live 10 at night because I need the content, but I don't want to come across as fake. I want it to be something of value for everybody because it's like, the one today was just absolutely stupid, but it's what I wanted to talk about. It was fun. It was on my mind. I'm like, hey, this is what I'm going with. But there are days to where you're like, you just don't feel it right away. That's fine. I have cans of reels that I can always be posting that is already done good content.
Sure.
And I know that live's going to come sometime that day, but I'm not going to force it.
And that's where like the genuineness and the raw and the authenticity kicks in with your personal brand that's why some of Brad's best content was a side conversation outside while smoking a cigar. Yeah. Not like, okay, ready? Like kind of like in here, we got the lights, the lights set up. We got all the cool, pretty, all the bullshit and all mic'd up but literally just one of my best conversations I've ever had in my entire life in my business career was in the hallway at Menace Underground with me and Nick. Terrence wasn't there. It was me and Nick and Carlos Reyes. Yeah. And we were in the hallway. And I think he was mic'd up with his camera guy in the background just kind of doing whatever. Yeah. We hadn't even walked in to record the podcast yet. His podcast was stupid, by the way. He told a story about his mom coming across the border and all that stuff. It was so good. But
Carlos, another G.
Another G, yeah. but that life-changing moment, that lesson was literally in the hallway.
Yeah.
And that's why Brad Lee said, dude, he's like, the second I get in till the second I go home, he's like, I'm mic'd up the entire time.
Some of the best content
even if you don't get the video, you get the audio.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Because I've got podcasts that are just audio to where I was just talking at a thought and posted it. I'm like, oh, this is legit. It feels genuine, the whole 9 yards. My most popular podcast ever was a raw spur of the moment. Just put the iPhone up, started recording, sitting in my office with my dog down at my feet. I even show everybody on the camera, there's my dog. And it's my highest watched, listened to podcast. And there's no script. There's no intro music, no outro music. It was just, here it is. And then I threw it on.
So talk to so obviously our audience, most of our audience, small business owners like us, entrepreneurs, guys that are trying to grow and scale their business. How does that to us it comes natural now?
Yes.
Now. Where's the shift from trying and being intentional to where it just literally just comes to you?
Well, I think you just have to get comfortable first in just doing it and putting it out.
So practice.
Exactly, but practice that's out there to the public. So what I mean is that I've got
public practice.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So that can be going live. Because you're going to find that there's going to come a point when you're recording live podcast or live video, whatever, that all of a sudden it's just going to click and you're going to find your voice. And you got to give yourself your opportunity to find your voice. Because initially you're going to want to be...
Find your voice. That's a great clip, Dakota, who's listening to this. Whoever's listening to this. Find your voice. That's awesome.
Because initially you're going to want to be, I'm JVP, I'm Nick, or I'm Andy Frisella dropping the F-bomb every other word. You realize that, well, yeah, maybe you cuss, but you don't cuss at that level. You need to dial it back.
Right.
Because I curse. I have to, but I also believe that use it strategically, that it's not every other word. You're going to find your voice eventually. So I have released 75 podcasts so far. I've got another 10 in the can, and I'm recording another 10 next week.
And when did you start it?
I started.
Pay attention, those listening.
The first one broadcast April 30th of 22. So I drop 1 to 2 a
So
week.
a year.
Yeah.
So in a year you've done how many?
75.
So-
Episode 75 was released as of today's
So
recording.
it's a little more than one a week.
Yes.
But
yeah. Because I went to Dakota.
hard.
Yeah, I went to Dakota a month or so ago, and I said, we're going to start doubling up on what I'm recording because I want to release on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And so we did that.
Twice a week.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I want a strict schedule. I've never missed a Wednesday. I have missed Saturdays because I just haven't had enough content or whatever. But
Sure.
But never missed a Wednesday. Every Wednesday, like clockwork, my podcast is going to be up, good to go, everywhere. Now,
Love
the
it.
first 33 episodes I did by myself. No video, no nothing. It's just me.
Just audio.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was me doing the editing. So it's every
sounds
every
exhausting.
all that's gone. They sound very robotic. And something happened like around that time I talked to my wife and said, "Hey, you want to come in and just shoot the shit with me?"
Yeah.
And just do podcasts.
Talking to this thing.
Yep. I said, sometimes we'll have like some talking topics or whatever. And other times it'll be just complete gibberish and it'll just be fun.
Sure.
So we went into that. Initially, I still had scripting out. And I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm just going to go in. We're going to be raw. We're going to be ourselves. And the funniest thing happened. That's when the viewership and the listings started to go through the roof. Is that everybody's like, oh, now we have Kevin. Now we have the real guy that I see when he's not behind a mic and all that. We got him. So now it's like you're just getting me, just having fun and just.
So I want to touch on this too before I let you go. Talking about, you said you'll do it on a walk. We think of a podcast like you have to have the big fancy studio, all these mics. Like you can do it. There's two ways of doing it. One, there's the voice memo app on your phone, which is free.
Yep.
You just click that and it'll do the audio, not the video. So Nick, when he's come back from California this past week,
it's a really good one.
5, 6, 7 hours. Yeah. And he was literally, it was him and his dog, and he didn't want to do a video to not like distracted from the road. He literally was talking, holding it like this and was just talking into his phone. So that's one way of doing it. A walk, just like you said.
I've done a walk where I'm doing I've done a video and just audio.
Sure.
I did one here recently where
I'm trying to talk of different places where you can do it instead of just a studio. Because you're like, I don't have a studio. I can't do a podcast.
I'll give them a great one. I had one to where I wanted to meet TPG, Paint Stains, Ricardo.
Yep.
Wanted to meet him at a house that he painted for me. And I said, hey, we're going to do this double. I said, this will help you because you'll have reels about, hey, here's a house I painted, blah, blah.
Sure.
But I'm also going to record a podcast. So we just stood there. I'm drinking a bang and we're recording it for 30 minutes as my wife.
Front of a house.
My wife was holding it. And so the audio's not great. Who cares?
What about time? What's your average podcast and why?
My average is 12 to 20 minutes is pretty standard. And like I've only had 2 hit 30 minutes. They're pretty much 12 to 20.
What about with someone?
They're not that long. I mean, because I've got an internal clock that'll just cut it at 30. And I'll just be like if you, it's funny, if you look up Ryan Matthews was on and you look up Ricardo's, both of them are just under 30. And I don't know what it is. My brain goes, we're at 30. Now, what I've started exploring is that I'm just going to break them up into parts. It's like if I think that it's gone too long, I've gotten a lot of feedback on mine that people like that they're not long, that they're the shorter content. One person says specifically, hey, I can go walk my dog, listen to your podcast, have a few laughs and get back. Because that whole podcast is like, yeah, we talk about literally anything. We'll talk about relationships, business.
Well, that's what the 60 business status is. It's not just business.
I don't think
it's like this much business.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
exactly. I don't think you should be pigeonholed.
No.
And it took me a long time to realize that, okay, yes, the podcast is called Dad's Rules. So it is based around my books. However, there's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of fun stuff to talk about. I don't go political at all. I just have fun on mine. But a lot of it's relationships. We do some business tips, and we just have fun.
So when I do 75 hard, so when I do my personals are about 15 to 20 minutes.
Yep.
When I have someone on, I average between 30 minutes and an hour. I try and keep them under 45 minutes because I've done 75 hard 4 times. And when you do 75 hard, it's 150 workouts. Yeah. One of them of mine is always in a vest from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. And so I'll even go listen to my own podcast because when you do it originally, it's just me and Kevin are having a conversation. But you go back and you're the listener and not the talker. whole different experience.
Oh, absolutely. I
with
listen to all of mine.
Yeah, but with
I think that is a great tip for people out there.
Yes.
Is it go back and listen, because you're going to be able to dissect it and
you're just critiquing your craft.
Exactly.
And
it's okay. Done is better than perfect. Just get it out there and know that over time, because even Andy Frisella, have you ever listened to his early ones?
Oh, garbage.
They're freaking bloody awful.
Yeah.
Now the message is good, but his delivery and all that, sloppy.
He's much
sloppy.
more. He's very smooth now.
But now it's like I listen to.
It's like 300 and something episode. Like it's.
Yeah, and he did what close to 400 of the original, and he's done like
CEO.
Yeah, and he's around 400 or so with the other one. So he's like 800 podcasts in. So right now he's a gangsta.
Yeah, he's a master. Yeah,
he's incredible. But it's like critique your own.
Yeah,
brilliant.
When I do 75 hard, so it's 45 minutes. So I always try and keep it under 45 because when from my doorstep, I have in Power Ranch in my neighborhood, I have the exact map. Yep. I walk the exact same sidewalks in one every single time I do it, and it's to the second of 45 minutes, maybe 46. Just to make sure I get it in.
Mine hits over an hour.
Yours does?
Yeah, because
don't you do 5 miles?
I do.
I see a lot of 5 miles.
It's never less than 4. It's the least I can do because I have 2 different routes I can walk. The one is just over 4, and the other one, if I do an extra loop, and it takes me to 5.
Nice.
Yeah, but I like that. It's like it's an hour and 15, and I'm listening to podcasts just like you.
So one last quote unquote business tip. So you do real estate.
Yep.
How many deals did you do last year?
Right around 40.
40. Yep. What are you on track to do this year?
Right.
Ish.
Just under 50. Just under 50. Yeah.
So you're doing closing almost one a week.
Yeah. No, I'm over one a week right now.
You're over 1 week right now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of realtors that are leaving the industry or that are doing like 1 or 2 a month, not 1 or 2 a week. What advice would you give them?
Well, one, I don't know how they're surviving on that. Advice, it's like we talked about. I think that you need to be putting yourself out there. It's the thing about social media is that they have a lot of friends that are following them that don't even know that they're in the business. So if you're posting on it, look at it that every time you're posting that's business related or whatever, you're letting people know that, hey, I'm here. Hey, I'm here. Hey, I'm a realtor. So, and then if you're giving solid advice, not just out there just begging for business, like I did one today to where I was asking for referrals, but I did it really funny. I said, hey, if I did a great job for you, please send me some buyers or sellers my way. If I did a bad job for you, send me your enemies so I can give them a miserable experience too. So it's fantastic. Like, you can have laughter, you can have fun with it.
Laughter, comedy, it's where it's at.
Exactly. And so I think the big thing is that a lot of them go, well, I can't get in front of the microphone. I will flat out tell them that if they don't embrace social media and video marketing and all that in the future, even if it's not social media, but it's video marketing for your homes that you're selling, you will not fail, or you will not succeed. You will fail.
Yeah.
There's just no way.
Well, Daniel, all of you guys with this, Daniel Fleshman, let it pull out a phone. He's like, you guys don't understand. 5 years ago, 10 years max, but 5 to 10 years ago, he's like, the camera that's built into this phone right now, people are paying $8,000 to $10,000, $12,000, and they're the big bazooka ones that you couldn't even get, or you had to be a camera guy, right, in order to get one. Now this camera is 10 times better, bigger, better, faster, stronger than that one, and do you go anywhere without this thing ever?
No.
So it's
and if you have the brand new iPhone,
yes,
that camera is sick.
Yeah,
like you should be upgrading your phones just for the camera feature alone.
Yeah, you already have a built-in camera. You take it everywhere you go. He said you're already doing the thing, whatever that is. Yeah. Right. Whether it's the listing, the open house, the roof, the podcast, the interview, the whatever. You're already doing the thing. And then apart from that, he's like, all you have to do is just post it. And he's like,
I went live with a client the other day.
Yeah.
They loved it. I was like, hey, I promised you that when you close the home, I was going to jump in your pool. I said, Drew, this is for you. And she's like, oh, thanks. And
it's crazy.
Yeah. So it's like you can have fun with it. And I think that everybody thinks that they've got to be suit and tie, all buttoned up and all. Fuck that. There's no other way to say it. Fuck that. No, I am jeans. This is how I dress. Because I told my wife, I said, look, if I'm pulling up in an obnoxiously wrapped pickup truck, do you think that I should be stepping out of it in a suit and tie or in blue jeans, obnoxiously bright red shoes, or my custom splash
This is what I wear on
shoes?
Stage. I wore this on stage with Ed Milet, I wore this to a podcast with Kevin Belzer.
My wife loves it.
And
she's like, hey, I don't have to pay for dry cleaning.
I work at Circle K with my kids. Like, dude, it's who I am. That's
I'm
why
always ready to go.
I might do the shirt. If I do a shirt and tie like I did that one time, I did it I did it when Ed Milet went on there. I did it just to be like, it was just to get people's attention.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was trying to show off or impress anybody. It was like, holy shit, like this dude, like he owns a suit.
We had to go to some event. I know we got to wrap up, but we had to go to some event recently where I had to wear a dress shirt and a tie. And I lost so much weight that my shirt looked like a bag on me.
That's hilarious.
Because it was from when I was like 50 pounds ago.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I clearly don't dress up anymore.
Alrighty, guys. I'm your host, Jason Payne. This is the Sexy Business Status Podcast. Kevin Belzer on here with me today. Stud friend, stud realtor, and like I said, pleasure having you come in and rip with us. And appreciate the friendship and keep kicking ass and taking names.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Alrighty. Be great.